And a top focus in WION at this hour. Taiwan has reported China's largest ever incursion in its air defense zone. Taipei says 71 Chinese Air Force aircrafts took part in the military drills near the island over the weekend. Taiwan further adds that at least 43 of these planes crossed over Taiwan Strait's median line. The median line, which is an unofficial buffer between the two sides that lies within the defense zone. China, which claims Taiwan as its own territory, said that it conducted strike drills in the sea and airspace around Taipei. Beijing says the drills were in response to what it considered provocation from Taipei and Washington after a new U.S. defense authorization law was passed. The law aims to strengthen Taiwan's defense capabilities against growing threats from China. The Taiwanese president, Tsai Ing-wen, meanwhile reiterated the need to boost Taiwan's defense capacity. She emphasized on how it was imperative to be united against China's growing aggression. However, the Taiwanese president made no mention of the latest military drills by China. The Taiwanese Defense Ministry released a statement in which it said that the actions of the Chinese Communist Party highlighted its mentality of using force to resolve differences, which undermines regional peace and stability. Tensions surrounding Taiwan have increased substantially this year, especially after U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taipei in August this year. And for more on this, joining us live is Vincent Shah, who is a political analyst, and he's joining us live from Taipei. Welcome to the broadcast, Vincent.
Thank you for having me.
Now, 71 planes flying into Taiwan's air defense zone. It is a record high number. I want to ask you that how significant were these incursions and what exactly triggered them?
Well, they follow a long pattern of Chinese intimidation and Chinese aggression that has been intensifying over the past year. And we've seen several, I think, incidents in terms of the Chinese heightening tensions, both including, for example, former or current U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan, but as well as in response to other measures of strengthened or closer Taiwan-U.S. relations. So this, this types of incursions or aggressions we see are very much in response to Taiwan's ability and Taiwan's aspiration of building closer relations with other democratic partners around the world.
Right. Now, like you mentioned that this was done to intimidate. So I want to ask you that apart from intimidation, what is the bigger message China looks to send out to Taiwan and the U.S.?
Well, I think there's very much a political message underlying Chinese actions. As you may know, Taiwan is entering a national election in 2024, January 2024. So we should see our presidential election start sometime by spring next year. And as a result, I think the Chinese do very much want to formulate a message where a vote for this ruling DPP party is a vote to bring us closer to, I would say, military actions. And so I think there's very much this political message that they're trying to spread here in Taiwan's populace. And China is very much trying to have Taiwanese electorate vote for a political party that they see as much more friendlier towards their interests.
Right. I also want to add that the drills were conducted just few days after a new U.S. Defense Act, which aims to strengthen Taiwan's defense capabilities. What kind of response can be expected from Washington now?
Well, I think we see U.S. policymakers very much interested and very much, I think, eager to do things in terms of strengthening Taiwan's self-defense. So we've seen, for example, these provisions in the budget that was unveiled a few days ago in Washington, D.C., in terms of strengthening Taiwan's military, providing loans, engaging in a military modernization campaign. And I think all of these actions are going on behind the scenes as well in terms of, longstanding venues of Taiwan-U.S. corporate military and security cooperation. So in that respect, I do think that the U.S. will probably see these sort of incursions as impetus for doing more on Taiwan and for hopefully spurring kind of more concrete action, not only from the U.S. itself, but also from other like-minded countries, including Japan, including Australia.
Right. Thank you for joining us.
Sorry about that. Including Japan, including Australia, and hopefully including other democracies like India in future.
Right. My last question to you. Do you think Taiwan is prepared in face of a Chinese aggression?
I think Taiwan is taking Chinese incursion very seriously, and we see double-digit defense increases that have been taking place over the past few years. And certainly, I think this government is very much focused on how we can build up international partnerships, how we can strengthen our own self-defense. But there is a growing complacency amongst the Taiwan's population. And when we see this as happening, every day in Taiwan, certainly I think the Taiwanese population, there is a sense of awareness that we must overcome from a governmental perspective.
Thank you, Vincent, for joining us, Nuon, at this hour and sharing your insights on this. Thanks very much.